I'll just introduce myself first. I'm Abhijit actually, and I have overall 13 year of experience. I've been in Dynamics from last 6 to 7 years now, and I have a prior experience on different technologies like .NET, WPF, C Sharp, WCF, WinForms, Silverlight, JavaScript, HTML, and after that I started in the Dynamics Power Platform, Power Apps, Canvas apps, model-driven apps, Power BI, and there are so many databases I have an experience on: MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, some of the NoSQL databases as well. And yeah, uh, and also domain-wise experience. I do have experience on different domains like healthcare, security, media, uh, public sector, and like that. And yeah, this is all about me. I just wanted to know, before we start, I wanted to know that how many of you are actually from a coding background and how many of you are from the non-coding background.
Hey, hi, this is Sam. So I do have some kind of knowledge on coding, like basics, .NET, like C Sharp, like hoops concepts.
Okay.
And functional side, I am good, and functional testing, I do have good access, but not typical developer, I can say. But I know like how the code will work, so that part I
Yeah.
can able to
Okay.
manage.
Okay. Okay. That's great to hear.
Hi, this is Meenakshi. Um, I mean, I have experience on Dynamics for like 3 years, like back in India. So I just wanted to brush up my skills again. So I have joined this session.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Um,
That's great.
um, yeah, but not too much into coding, but yeah, like how the other person told, like, yeah, we are good in understanding the basics. I mean, more than basics.
Okay. Yeah, that's great to know. I'm just asking because accordingly we can plan out the training. If the most of the people are from the no coding or very little coding background, in that way we can organize the stuff. It shouldn't be too specific to the coding, or it shouldn't be in that way that the people lose the concentration in the in the presentation. So that is something we can plan out together.
How about for the
And
non-IT background people?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, dynamics is something which helps everyone to understand quickly, and it will not something hard digestion for the people who comes from a non-coding background, as it is something based on the low code no code platform. So low code no code is something either you have to write a very minimum amount of code, or you don't have to write a code at all. So that is something dynamics brings you. And people who are from non-coding background or non-computer background, they also feels comfortable after some point in time in dynamics. So I can assure you that one.
So will you help us, like, because I'm completely from non-IT background and I'm basically civil engineer, so
Yeah,
trying to get into the
absolutely.
IT side and
Yeah.
just started learning, Excel and Word now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah, is it something you can help, like,
Yes, absolutely. So I would tell you a little brief on that. It's not something, it's really common. People who don't have any idea about the coding and who have very little idea about the coding, they actually wanted to learn the dynamics, and it is really frequent for now. Most of the people are from the same area or same domain from where you are coming from. So it would not be difficult for you. Just the thing is that when something is built using the code or a platform, built using a tool or a platform, in that case you just wanted to get familiar with the tool, that particular tool or platform. So practice is must. I mean, you won't need to write a big lines of code. You just need to practice out the tool and platform. That's I would only suggest.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think the question is more like, some of the people already know CRM and all, like, and if you
Yeah.
are going along with them,
No,
and
I mean,
I
it would
would,
be really from the scratch. It shouldn't be taking any consideration that either of you are from coding background or either of you have already have a knowledge about the dynamics. I wouldn't, start something, from the advanced level. It will be started from the scratch and the very basic level. So everyone should come on the same page, and then we will go to the advanced versions.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm from the support background. I just started working on Dynamics like 3 to 4 months ago. I know a little bit about Dynamics. Like I can create the form, I can create the option set, the fields. That's all I can know. And yeah, like I guess we can use JavaScript to create the web resources. That's all I know. And I know a little bit about the Power Platform as well, like the Power Automate, how to create the flow. Yeah,
yeah,
that's all from
that's
my.
great. That's good to know. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, I think let me share my screen. We will just go through the basics of Dynamics, how it has started and how it has been really popular nowadays. Let me share my screen and let me know if you can see it. Let me know if you can see my screen. I have a little
Yes.
basic presentation for the Microsoft CRM. So Microsoft CRM, as the name suggests, that it is something related to a customer relationship. So whenever in your application there is a need of a customer relationship, if you wanted to automate that one, Dynamics is something provides you a way better than options than any of the other CRM providers. It actually helps you to automate your business processes, whatever business you are in. If it is with customer, it really helps you to automate those business processes. Dynamics is something, has so many things. I mean, for developing any applications in traditional way, if you see, you have so many things. You need to have someone from the user experience side, someone who needs some knowledge of your creating your user interface. A people, a set of team will need to create your business logic, writing down some code, and some people will need at the backend operations where there would be a database operations, server management, all those stuffs. Dynamics has clubbed everything in under one umbrella, and that is a Microsoft Dynamics CRM. It will help you to streamline all these activity under one application or a platform only. You don't need to buy out a separate tools or applications, to perform or accomplish the task that is needed to build a good application. So wherever you wanted to develop an applications where a customer interaction is, be it be a sales side, be it be a marketing, customer service, technical support, field service, everywhere Dynamics you can use. And it is not something it is only specific to a certain domains. It has an XRM flavor as well. I mean, by default Dynamics come with a certain flavors. If your application needs doesn't fit in that flavor, you can straight away start creating your own application from the scratch. So it has also has that capability. So this is something a really basic introduction of Dynamics. Let's go into the little more versioning of how Dynamics has started and why it has become a really booming market for Dynamics nowadays. So Dynamics is something which has started earlier in 2003, and it was that time a separate standalone desktop based applications. 2003 is something, you all know that most of the market was captured by desktop applications, very less usage of the web application at that point in time. So this has started way back in 2003, and they have launched very basic version 1.0 with some basic tools and some basic automation. And later on they started improving, they year by year they have brought up new versions, and after 1.2 they have named themselves as a Dynamics. So their application becomes little responsive, the interaction between the component became little dynamic, and that's the reason they are saying that we are now compatible with the certain other tools and applications as well. So we are now Dynamics, and you can club Dynamics with the other office utility applications like Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint. uh, they started building out that capability into Dynamics, and later on they increased their versions 3.0, 4.0, and then in 2011 I think they come up with some language which is called as an AX. So AX is something they come up with a language, and they given us some more features that if the predefined features or components, if that doesn't fulfill your business need, then you can actually write your own code to perform certain operations. So coding is also an options got available after that, and then later on the version got increased. So till that time, I think 2016 or something, they were completely the desktop applications and or on premises applications where your server was also you need to manage. But after that, it was kind of a complete turnaround, as Dynamics 365 got merged into the Power Platform. Power Platform started, I think, somewhere around 2015 or 16, and they have decided that let's build application on top of the Office 365. So they started using that 365 word for all of them application. The Microsoft started using this word for all of their application. We all know that. And in same way, they also named Dynamics as a Dynamics 365. So after that, they also became a online tool. I mean, this is not something you need to install and download, right? You can straight away browse the certain website and you can start developing there only. So none of your code will sit on your local machine. You can work from anywhere on any machine. No need of any specific machine configurations. With very basic minimum setup, you can you can do a good development in the Dynamics. So current version is an Microsoft Dynamics 365, and which is completely a web-based applications. The server itself also hosted on the Azure. So you might need to have, if you are in your office, if you have the Microsoft Dynamics setup or Power Platform setup, it might be hosted in the Azure. So Azure is something you all know that how great features it offers, and it supports dynamic support all of the Azure features as well. So all of the Azure application stacks you can use, and it is compatible with the Microsoft Dynamics by default. It has native supports because all of them belong to a same family, which is a Microsoft Dynamics. Sorry, which is a Microsoft. So it brings a lot of flexibility in terms of interacting with different applications of the Microsoft family. So these are the brief introduction about the different versions. And the competitor, Microsoft, sorry, CRM is not something only one application or only one platform which offers customer specific, automations. There are also some other competitors which are also the big ones like a Salesforce, Oracle, SAP. These are also some of the competitors which Dynamics is having. Salesforce and Dynamics, I think they occupied major area of the CRM application suites with different user interface. They have different capabilities as well. Depend on the requirement, people often chooses which they wanted to go for. Oracle is also providing the CRM suite to develop the applications. And then SAP is something you might be aware of, that SAP has so many things. It has more older than Dynamics, but the usage of SAP has been minimized since the inception of these uh, tools like Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. And then earlier there used to be a Sage CRM and Sugar CRM and NetSuites. These were little older, but if you talk about current market, it is divided mostly between the Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, and then after that only Oracle. So these are some competitors which Microsoft is having. And as I said that whenever you set up your Dynamics 365, set up in the sense that purchasing the license or downloading the applications which are by default available with the this platform, Dynamics 365 platform. So there are certain modules which you will get by default. I mean, you can choose either of those or you can choose everything, right? So if you wanted to implement a project in the sales area, then you can go for the Microsoft Sales, Microsoft Dynamics Sales. So you can download the applications. It will come up with the some basic setup which is required for the sales. So if you talk about sales, certain things are really common. Doesn't matter which sales applications you are developing. Invoice is really common in everything, right? Invoice is common, then competitor is common. So these are two different tables, I would say. So these two tables will always be there. It doesn't matter which type of sales process you are having. The name might differ, name might be different, but the uh, invoice may have some different name like a bill, but actual functionality would be common, right? So whenever you take a subscription of, or you buy a license for a sales, Microsoft Dynamics Sales, you would be provided with some set of built-in automations and also some set of built-in tables like invoice, competitor, product catalog. Then you have accounts, then you have contacts. These are really basic stuffs we all need whenever we wanted to work with the sales applications. So this is by default will get available if you take an license for a sales, and similar for service marketing as well. For services as well, you would need some, like, cases. I mean, whichever service, customer service or field service you are working on, case management is always a common module. I mean, you need to have some table where you will store all the cases you will be getting for the customer service. So case would be there, entitlement, your service level agreements, something like that. You will be getting a basic tables when you buy out the service model. And then you have the marketing there. So marketing again, there are different types of marketing. It can be, marketing can be over the phone, over the email, over the chat, or over the, hoardings or banners. All the digital marketing, if you say, it is possible, through the dynamics. So it will help you to create the marketing list. So there are different types of marketing list. Then one is your static marketing list. I mean, you would, at the start of the day, you would get the data of the customers or potential customers to whom you wanted to call. You would have a printed list. You would hand over that list to your marketing team, and they will start calling those peoples, or they would start connecting with those people in different way. That is a static marketing list. Next is something, dynamics marketing. Dynamics marketing is something, if the person searches for in the Amazon or Google about the refrigerator, then the Google API will pick that customer, send out the respective people who are selling that fridge, be it be Amazon, be it be some other tie-ups they are having. They will start suggesting your different, ads and like that. This is something, a marketing based on your searches, right? And this list will get created dynamically, and that is called as the dynamic marketing. So these type of features is also available in the dynamics, where you can implement certain features, in order to accomplish your marketing needs. And then there is one more module, is in commerce. Commerce is nothing but, whatever e-commerce we are having, all the e-commerce platforms, that kind of an applications can also be created using the Microsoft Dynamics. If you wanted to create an application, something like a Flipkart, Amazon, that is completely possible using the Dynamics. They would also provide some basic table structure, some basic automations for that, and you can leverage on top of that to build out certain things. And then finance, all the financial related, banking applications, your trading applications, that can also be done using the Dynamics. There is one more module, which is a human resource. All the HR related activities, from onboarding and person, getting them onboarded, the rest of the things, managing the employees, that things also possible through the one of the model, which is a human resource. And then supply chain management. Supply chain management, if you try to club with the sales service, that can be clubbed with the supply chain as well. If you wanted to maintain or monitor your supply chain management, if you have a certain demand, and against that demand, how you are fulfilling that demand, if you wanted to take that ratio, if you wanted to build out a different dashboards, reports, you can also set up certain, business processes to implement your supply chain management. You can monitor your different warehouses, your logistics, all these things, you can do using the Dynamics. The next is something, project operation. uh, any projects, be it be your IT projects, mechanical, any type of projects, non-technical, technical projects, agricultural projects, all of these projects need certain basic setups. I mean, what are the basic setups or parameters to accomplish a project? Is that something, start date, due date, how many milestones are there, how many phases are there, what are the deliverables you need to manage, how would you avoid the overruns, how would you mitigate the resources? Everything can be done using the project operation module, which is provided by the Microsoft Dynamics. And then business central is something, a kind of an admin stuff, where it monitors the activities for your different modules, whichever you have bought. So it would provide you a control in terms of the different connectors you are having, different dashboards you are having. That is something, monitoring your all business management is something done in the business central. So these are the some Microsoft Dynamics 365 modules. If you try to search, you will see some more sub modules of these one, like service will have field service, and so and so. And some of these modules might have renamed now. I mean, There used to be a Microsoft NAV that has got renamed to, I think, Business Central now. And you also have customer engagement, Microsoft Dynamics CE. CE is and nothing but the customer engagement. So there are certain groups and subgroups as well. But yeah, these are something, if you talk about, if you wanted to spread on the domain specific modules, these are the main modules which Dynamics is offering. And it is not something that if you wanted to have a requirement apart from all of these modules you cannot do. It is definitely possible. Only thing is that with these modules you will be given with some set of stuffs, ready-made stuff already available, and you would be building out an application on top of that stuff, so that
Uh,
time spent in that stuff would be minimized.
yeah, Abhijit, sorry to interrupt. You were saying something on NAV,
Yeah.
customer engagement. Is that not in this, or could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so if you search for the customer engagement, those actually these sales service and marketing models, those comes under that customer engagement. So those are might be the groups and subgroups. Lot of people have distinguished and separated these modules in different ways. Okay, uh, but these are the basic modules which Dynamics is providing. If you
So this
search
is
on their
something a
websites,
Dynamics CRM, right? And those
yes,
things are
Dynamics CRM.
Dynamics
Those are also
365 CE.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a logical differentiation between the modules and submodules. If I separate out a service, customer service and field service separately, it will become a two modules, right? So that is something, just a logical separations, but actually these are the modules which exist. And we will also explore the Microsoft Dynamics website, where you will see these modules as well when you wanted to buy out a trial, or when you wanted to buy out an actual subscription. So we will try to explore that as well.
Abhijit,
Okay.
I have one question. Is it this CRM and CE both are same or both are different?
So CRM is a platform. CE is just a module which clubs several different modules in that. Let me try to show you.
So in this CRM which you are showing, all these modules will cover or what?
So the thing is that we won't be covering all the modules. We are covering the actual implementations. So I would say, take it in that way that let's say that these are different architectures of the houses. We won't be seeing the customizations of the houses. We would be actually looking out how the houses can be built. So actual
Okay.
customization, that how you would be designing a screens, how you automate your business processes, how you write a code, how you can streamline your business processes, how you can send out the notifications, how you can do the validations, form validations, backend validations. That stuff we would be looking into. And if you understood that one, then doesn't matter in which domain you are working on, you can build out any project.
Okay. So if we learn this CRM, there's then separately no need to run this CE, right? Customer engagement.
No, C is, I mean, it is not an application. It is just a domain, a business domain, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
You
yeah.
mentioned
Got it.
CRM is also business domain because Dynamics 365 finance and operation, in those application we do have different modules, as you can say, account payable, account receivable,
Yes.
human
Yes.
resource, right? So
Yes.
those also comes under different domain modules. So I think this
Yeah.
Dynamics 365 is one application where you have only with respect to customer relationship, something like sales, service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you mean to say?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, as you correctly said that the FNO, which is the finance and operations, come with a different set of
Modules.
tables and business set of, I would not say modules, but different set of capabilities. uh, Same like sales, it comes with a different set of tables and capabilities and
Mhm.
the automations. So each and every single of these modules will have different flavors, right? But what is something common in those is something how those can be built out. What are the core things or core component which actually build these different components, that we are going to learn. Yeah, because these components or these different modules will get increased day by day. I mean, they will launch certain new things later on. So that can be different. uh, Take it in that way. Let's say you are working in a company, and let's say you are working in the c#.net coding, and you are working in healthcare. The moment you switch the company, in the next company it can be a banking domain, but what is common is that your language is common. So it will not be that difficult for you to get the knowledge of domain. So you won't be need to learn a new technology, just a different set of domain and capabilities you need to learn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me talk about the next thing. And yeah, this is as I
It is,
talked about earlier,
yeah,
the
hi
native
Ankit.
support from. Yes.
Is it technical or functional business functional course it is?
No, it is both. It is for everyone. I'll talk about that as well. If you
Okay.
wanted to learn a dynamics, what kind of a role dynamics will offer you, I will talk on that as well. Once we are about to end this session, then I will talk about that one. Okay. uh, what is great offering from a dynamics is something, a native support for all the emerging technologies. So you can name the technology and it has the support for the dynamics or a power platform. AIML is something, it has a pretty much good support. If you wanted to build out AI based applications, if you wanted to create a database tables using the AI, you can just type in the chat box, and it will create a table for you, complete table or a complete application for you with very basic setup. That is completely possible. If you have heard about a recent uh, update from the Microsoft Dynamics team, they have launched Copilot as a feature. With that, you can create a complete application only using the chatbot. You can just type the requirement, and it will bring you create a basic application for you. So once you got the basic applications created, then you can refer the existing screens and functionalities, and you can try to mimic or replicate those functionalities, and you can build out on top of that, so that somehow you will get some reference material in order to refer and implement something similar accordingly. That is something you have got. Generative AI, something which actually remembers your earlier conversations and understand based on that and gives you the input on that. That is also compatible with the Microsoft Dynamics. Business intelligence is something which helps you to create the good dashboards. Like if you have heard about the Power BI is again under the Microsoft family, Power Platform family, which has a native support for that. You can create a good reports, dashboards using the business intelligence. You can gather the data from different sources. You can use the ETL, if you are aware about the ETL processes, ELT processes. Through the Azure, you can connect with some third-party databases. You can grab the data. You can perform your business intelligence operations to build out certain dashboards, which will help your company to grow as a financially. That is also supported in Dynamics. And then something is robotic process automations is also available. If you have heard about the Power Automate desktop flows, that has complete different set of uh, tools and features available where you can build out a robotic process automation with that. And then Azure integrations as Microsoft platform, Power Platform or a Dynamics 365 is from the Microsoft itself. So it has capabilities and compatibilities over all the Microsoft family tools and applications or a platform. And Azure is nothing but the Microsoft premium platform. So it has native support for all the Azure stacks. If you wanted to implement any integration with the Azure Databricks, Azure Data Factory, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Cognitive Services, Azure AI as well, that can be done using the Dynamics, and you can integrate that with the different Azure tools and platforms. So it has native supports. ETL and data warehousing I have just talked about. You can create an integration with some different applications and Dynamics by using the bridge as Azure. Then something next is an IoT. If you have heard about the IoT, which is an Internet of Things, it also has the support to IoT, where you can, if you have as a field service profile, as a field service module, if you are working on, and if you wanted to track all the field technicians wherever they are working. That can be possible using the IoT. So IoT integrations, you can see how many your technicians or field service persons are engaged at which places. Let's take an example of anything. Let's take an example of Urban Clap, who offers so many services, and their technicians visits to your home to do certain things. You can actually track how many people are engaged at what places and when they will be finished. You might have seen that those people comes and start their jobs. The reason is that they just wanted to let their team know that they are actually working here, and that is something achievable through here, using the dynamics. And then chatbot is something, again, you might have seen at so many banking websites or so many other websites where you have the chatbots, which will help you to solve your business needs, in quicker time frame. So it has support with all of these emerging technologies. You can choose either of those, and you can try to explore those areas, and you can see how Microsoft Dynamics or a Power Platform brings a compatibility and more features for you.
Hello, I have a question. So
Yeah.
if I have subscribed to Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, like all the five Power Apps, what is the difference between the two? Where I can see the apps that I have built, I can see from the Power Apps. So all the standard entities will also be available in the Power Apps for me. How
Yes.
does he
Yes.
differentiate these two?
Yeah. So there is a very important difference. I'll tell you. Dynamics 365. If I refer to my earlier slide, this one, Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2016. Until this, it was not. It was a standalone application. Microsoft Dynamics CRM was a standalone application. After it has become named as a 365, it has become a part of your Microsoft Power Platform. So Power Platform is a platform which brings a different tools in that family. Power Platform provides the Canvas apps. Power Platform provides you the Power Automate. Power Platform provide you the Power BI as well. Along with that, it also provide you the model driven apps. Whenever you see model driven app, and whenever you hear the Dynamic 365, there is no difference. Both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. Dynamic 365 is altogether is steadily and gradually getting integrated into a model driven app. So if you are using the model driven app inside the Power Platform, it is nothing but the Dynamics 365. Okay. Currently, Microsoft is moving all the feature which was there in Dynamics 365 into the Power Platform. So that integration is not completely done. So you can have two different way to develop certain things. I mean, if you are creating an application, you can either create it from the Microsoft Power Platform using the model driven app, or you can create the same application using the Dynamic 365. And it is not limited to that. You can either create one form into the Microsoft Dynamics 365, and you can design one form or one user interface into the model driven app, which is a part of a Power Platform. And you don't need to buy out two different licenses for that. If you buy out one single Power Platform license, you will be getting Dynamics 365 by default. So there are two different ways of accomplishing same thing. That's it. I mean, there is no any other difference. It is just that the movement of the features is not completely done from a Dynamics to a model driven app. That's the reason Microsoft is keep supporting two different versions. If you remember, when we used to have an Internet Explorer, and when the Microsoft launched Microsoft Edge, so what they have done is that they were supporting both of these versions. They were supporting Internet Explorer, and they are also supporting the Microsoft Edge. Both of the things are doing the same thing. Replace those things with the Dynamics 365 and model driven app. Okay, both of them are doing the same thing. Gradually they have decommissioned, or they have stopped supporting the Internet Explorer. Same thing will might happen in the future. They will stop supporting the Microsoft Dynamics 365, and they will recommend people to use the Power Platform and use the model driven app. That's the only feature, nothing else. Whenever you hear Dynamics 365, it is nothing but the model driven app.
Okay, thanks.
And then it's something a kind of kind of an architecture we will talk about. If you some of you might be from the coding background or somehow coding background, then you might wanted to know that how the things gets managed, because for designing any applications you need to have a separate UI team or a front end user team, or you might have separate database team, or you may have person who look after the your business logic. There might be multiple team, there might be single team who do the multiple operations. That is completely depend on company to company. But you might be knowing that how much time gets spent to buy out different licenses, to set up different softwares, to set up different versions of tools in order to accomplish one single application. Microsoft Dynamics is saying that we don't need to buy out any of these. Just buy out the our application, Power Platform, take model driven app, and you will be getting everything. You don't need to buy out separate things. Don't worry about the separate applications for the form designing, separate application or a separate language for the backend validations or databases, or separate application for managing your front end and back end. You don't need to worry about that one. Just use the single one container, which will provide you everything. And also deployment is something, if you wanted to push your code to the client machine, you need to do a lot of stuff if you are working on the traditional way of development. Microsoft Dynamics is saying that you don't need to worry about that. Just export this particular solution as a zip, and that's it. Everything will be available in one single folder. You just need to import that folder into your client machine, or your client environment, and they will be able to start using that application. And that is straight away really easily available and easily implemented by Microsoft for us. So wherever we have heard about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, these are all front end and client side scripting, Ajax, and so many things. You don't need to worry about those can be drag and drop things here. Backend side, if you talked about Oracle, SQL Server, don't worry about that. We have different set of workflows available here, and there is one single database which is called as a dataverse, which is available. So you don't need to look after so many databases. You have one single common database, which is a Microsoft Dataverse, which has been provided by Microsoft. Use that one to achieve or accomplish any of your business requirement. As simple as that. So under one container, you can do all the operations which are listed here. So this is a pretty basic architecture of Dynamics is offering. Any questions here?
So in this architecture, so what are the topics you are going to cover, like front end, back end, database?
So the languages which gets used here, let me talk about in this slide. The core component which makes Dynamics 365 are these one. So entities and fields, I mean, for every single applications you need some backend tables, right? Tables and entities both are synonyms. Whenever I say entities, those are nothing but the tables, database tables. Whenever I say fields, those are nothing but the columns. So in terms of the Dynamics 365, they were named as entities and fields. Whenever they move to the dataverse, they are calling them as a tables and columns. These are one and the same. And if you wanted to design a user interface, then you need to customize the forms. Forms are nothing but your user interface. Okay, so you will customize your forms using the different tables and fields. You will bring those fields as a drag and drop on your form, which will create your user interface. You will be given with by default options for save, edit, delete, activate, deactivate, share, assign. These are by default options. You don't need to write a single line of code for that. The form will get data will get saved automatically. Data will get deleted whenever you wanted to delete it, one single click, without writing a code. You can create a simple application without writing a single code. So whenever we start, you will get to know that how easy it is. You just need to get familiar with the tools and its features, and that's it. The more you practice, the more you will get understanding of that one. Whenever you run out of limitations of the tools or features, then in that case you might need to go for a coding part. The coding can be available in the form of the JavaScript or in the form of the C sharp. If you wanted to do the front end validations, which might be limited your screen, user interface. If you wanted to do, let's say, if you have a date of birth, you wanted to check, you don't want to allow a user to select a date of birth which is greater than today's, then you can use the JavaScript in order to accomplish that requirement. Okay, so certain validations you can make use of the JavaScripts. Okay, if your out of the box or by default features provided by Microsoft Dynamics are not supported, then only you can go for those coding part. Rather, or you can just use the whatever is available out of the box. Whenever I say out of the box, it means a default. Out of the box is a default. That's the synonym. So in that case
But we
only you
can,
can go for the coding.
but we cannot escape escape JavaScript wholly, right?
It's completely depend on the requirement what a client is asking you. If client is saying that whenever I click on this button, I wanted to integrate to my different system, or I wanted to clone my complete record, or let's say I wanted to perform certain operations which are kind of different ones, so
So
in
even
that
in
case
that
only you
case,
can go for.
even in that case, we cannot. If that's the situation, we cannot escape JavaScript. JavaScript is the only option in that case, right?
Yes, absolutely. C Sharp is also option. A plugin is also an option, which is the backend. So you need to
Right.
decide whether that particular requirement is uh, form specific, or I mean, it is a user interface validation, or that
Yeah,
can be treated as a backend.
yeah. Mostly in my company is like a user interface deployment or emitment. So in that case, yeah, JavaScript, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. JavaScript gets used more oftenly. But yeah, it is only will get used when your out of the box features have the limitations to accomplish that task. Then only go for the JavaScript. Look for the options which are readily available. If those options are not solving your problem, then go for the
Mm.
coding part, be it be a JavaScript or be it be some other features.
Okay. Okay.
And then you have some more components like an action workflows, power automate flows. These are nothing but the sequence of activities you wanted to run. I mean, let's say if I click on save buttons, if I am saving a record of an employee, I wanted to get that employee saved, then I wanted to send an email to someone, then I wanted to also update the database or some different tables and update that status to something else. These are sequence of activities. If you wanted to do certain activities, business activities, then you can go for these different features, which is action workflows or power automate flows or a plugin maybe.
Yeah, for the flow, like for example, if we want to make flow as a mediator between, like for example, we create a form on Word and we want when someone fill the form on the sorry, not Word, WordPress, fill the form on the WordPress, and it will automatically create a lead in the 365.
Yes,
So in that case, we can use the automate flow, right?
yes, power automate flow you can create in that case. So power automate flow is something which provides the connector to almost more than 600 connectors. So throughout your IT life, whatever tools you have used, I would guaranteed that 95% of the tools will have the compatibility to the power automate. They will definitely have a support. Okay, so it has
Okay.
a really large set of capabilities in terms of the connectivity or compatibility to different tools. It also supports the social medias, your Gmail, social Twitter, then your repository management like Azure DevOps, your Jenkins, GitHub, your office applications like your OneDrive, SharePoint, Microsoft Planner, then you have OneNote, Outlook, all over it has support, Power Automate. So it is really good. And then security is the most important feature, or the area where you need to invest a lot. Doesn't matter which type of application you are using, security has the larger expenses in terms of the your cost. I mean, you need to spend a lot on the security, be it be a application security, or be it be your physical security whenever you are developing that application. So security is always a main area of focus for any application development. So my Microsoft is saying is that we have our predefined security model, and you will get a security at every single level. If you wanted to have a security at an environment level, we have that option. You can have the security in place for the environment. We have the security at the uh, organization level. For under one environment, you have multiple organizations or sub environments. We have security at that level as well. We also have a security at a table level or a form level or a screen level. I mean, I wanted to show a certain screen to certain people, but don't want to show the same screen to some other people. Yes, that is that option is available. You can customize what you wanted to show, what you wanted to hide. And at field level as well, let's say one particular screen is visible to all the people, but at in that screen you have certain confidential data. Let's talk about an employee details. You have a certain data for the salary. Okay, that particular area you don't want to show to anyone else apart from you and HR. You can definitely customize and organize that as well. Microsoft is providing so many things for that. If you try to implement same thing in your traditional way, you have to write a lot of code, right? In terms of checking who has logged in, and then how you can check if that person is allowed or not allowed. You need to maintain different databases for that. You need to check, and you need to keep maintaining databases as well. Whenever people leave organizations, whenever new people comes in, you need to keep monitoring and maintaining that databases. So that is really a hectic activity, and Dynamics is providing really great security hierarchical implementations where you can use the security model in order to completely secure your app. And as I said that it has support to the Power Platform, Azure, SharePoint, and so many things. Security, and again there are some admin stuff as well which can be done using the Dynamics, which is setting up the business unit, teams, and users. Let's say you are a big multinational company, you have the presence in the 2 or 3 countries. You wanted to set up your new territory in the new let's say you wanted to set up your presence in the, let's say, Middle East, and you wanted to set up some business unit and teams there. So you would create a business units in your Dynamics 365 applications. You would set up the teams as per the cities and states, and accordingly you can set up the users and you can give the access to them. So the people who are part of that particular Middle East business unit can only access the data which are getting added and deleted from that particular region. So that level of security is also possible in the Dynamics, and you can set up a really great business hierarchy using the Dynamics. So these are the core components which builds a Microsoft Dynamics.
Can I check? For example, I have subscribed to this trial environment, but from the trial environment, right, I cannot able to use the SharePoint. It never allows to
Yeah,
use
yeah, it will not.
the
I mean,
SharePoint.
uh,
So
do you have?
how do we exactly like in this course? How will we have the environment to practice and all those things will be coordinated?
So you need to buy out not a buyout. You need to subscribe a trial license for whichever module you want. You can take a trial for sales, service, anything you want, and with that you will not get SharePoint. The SharePoint and these are something an AD, I mean Active Directory based applications. So you need to have an Active Directory account, which can be your organizational account. If you have SharePoint there, you can practice out that stuff in your organizational account. But with the trial org, you will not get those many features. You will have the limited features. The features which are subject to the AD access, Azure Directory access, you will not be able to use those in the trial environment.
So for this lessons, we will be using only the trial environment, right?
Yes, we will be using the trial environment, but it is not something that we are, I am open to explain those if you have access to the your organizational account. We can do
Okay.
one-on-one sessions, or you, if you
Mm,
are comfortable sharing in the in the forum, that can also be done.
okay, noted. Thanks.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it pretty much I wanted to cover today. I'm open to any questions. If you have, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, what would be the time of the batch timings if we opt for this batch? What would be the timings as per Indian timing zone?
It would be 8 to 9 p.m., just 1 hour before where we started today.
Okay, 8 to 9
Is there
p.m.
a
Okay,
chance
fine.
to schedule after 9 p.m. IST?
Sorry, say again.
I'm asking, so is there any chance to schedule at 9 p.m. IST time?
9 p.m. is a little difficult actually for me as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. And another question. So, is this course cover Microsoft admin role? Because some companies are asking, like, do you
Yes.
have any
Really
experience
great.
into
Yeah.
admin side?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just wanted to
Okay.
cover that topic as well. So this is really great questions. This is for everyone. If you are coming with a coding background, if you are not coming from a coding background, if you are coming from a IT, non-IT, whichever background you are coming, this platform or this application is for everyone. You will find your role here definitely. Whenever you wanted to work on Dynamics, three to four uh, there are 3 to 4 different flavors or job profiles it has. So let's say you are completely from non-native IT background, or you are might be a desktop support background. Then you can also grab a profile as a Microsoft admin. Okay, Microsoft Power Platform admin. Power Platform admin is nothing but where you will monitor or maintain the different environment. You will make sure that the number of licenses getting procured are expired, number of people leaving the organizations. You will have control over the Azure portal. From Azure portal you can control Microsoft Dynamics applications and all the security roles. That stuff you will be monitoring. You will be helping team to set up the business unit, different teams and different users, how the users can be moved part of the multiple teams, how the users can only access certain things. That is an admin stuff. If you wanted to improvise yourself in the admin, you can club that admin with the security. So that in that you can also be a security expert. Security is altogether a different set of capabilities Microsoft is providing. It is not just in one single one click single thing. It is a different setup. In the security you need to set up different teams, your Azure Active Directory, Entra ID setup, AAD setup, or security group setup. There are so many things you need to do. The security groups can be static or dynamics. Teams can be static or dynamics. Those can be your Office 365 teams, those can be your Dynamics teams, those can be your Azure teams, those can be your security groups. So there are so many complications and then so many options available in the Dynamics. So it also creates a separate add-on feature or add-on job profile options whoever wanted to go for the admin role. And Microsoft also provides certifications for the admin roles. If you search for their certifications, you will get a kind of an certifications stacks where you can start with the fundamental and keep on increasing your uh, efficiency. That is something for the admin role. The next is something, again, if you are from the non-IT background, then again a data migration expert. What is data migrations? Let's say you have application, earlier application, some client come up with you and they wanted to use the Dynamics, but they are saying that we are already using this DOS based or this ASP.NET applications, and we also have a data for this one. Let's say State Bank of India, they come up with you and they are saying that we wanted to take your software, but how you will take our existing data and will dump that data or migrate that data in your database, which is nothing but the dataverse in our case. So that activity is also not at all straight away. That is also create one more door open for the data migration expert. That is also altogether different role for the data migration, who will just look after the migration of a data from existing database to the new database. Okay, you would get an
Will
help
you be
from a technical
covering
team as well.
this?
We will be covering everything in a security. We will be having the deep dives. Okay, data migration is we don't have the source system where we can take the data, but I can tell how the data import can be done in the dataverse, which is a uh, Microsoft Dynamics. That can be definitely I'll be covering. Okay, you just need to take the data. So data would be ingested in the form of the Excel, and Excel you can straight away update. Okay, I would just tell you that how you can create the different templates in order to import the data into the Dynamics. So in short, we will be covering that. So you will be get an idea how the data import works. And then
By data
third
import, by
profile is
data import, you mean like the solution import or export?
no. Data import is different. Solution import comes with all your coding components and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
exactly. Okay.
Third, yeah, that is third set of profile, I can say, what you have correctly pointed out, is your solution deployment. I mean, you will always have a deployment team. If you see any MNC organization structure, they definitely have people who look after their deployments, the client side deployments. Okay, so deployment expert is also come up with the different roles. So a person who can only look after the deployments and maintenance, who will monitor different environments. Okay, in some companies, admin person and data migration expert can be one, or admin person or a deployment person can be one. In MNCs, those can be different. It is completely uh, based on the type of structure company is having. So data deployment person is also one of the role you can go for, where you will see how the dynamics deployment works. Although it is a single click development or deployment, but there are so many other scenarios where you would need an expert for the deployment. That is also a altogether different set of area where you can go for. And we will be covering the deployment, how the deployment works in the dynamics. Okay, that is also getting covered. And the
Yeah, Abhijit.
yes,
Yeah. So yes, here I have one question. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
So
please
do
go
we
ahead.
cover Azure pipeline as well? Because nowadays companies are asking, like, don't do the manual process, do the automation like by using Azure pipeline. So will this topic cover in this like upcoming
So
sessions?
yeah, Azure CI/CD pipelines we won't be covering. I'll tell you that it needs a separate Azure license for that, and you would need an Active Directory license for that. We don't really work on the Active Directory, and trial license doesn't support for that one. But if you heard about the Power Apps pipelines, those are not like a CI/CD pipelines from the Azure. Those has been recently launched by the Power Apps pipeline, by Power Apps. So initially, what used to earlier, what used to happen is that you need to integrate your Dynamics application into the ADO, Azure DevOps, in order to establish the CI/CD pipelines. Now, Microsoft Power Apps itself has launched their pipelines. It is just one single click. I mean, you just need to grab the environment ID from the source system and dynamic system, destination system, and that's it. You can straight away set up the pipelines. I can
What is
guide
it
you on
called?
that one.
What is
It's
it called?
Power
Power App?
Power Apps Power Apps pipelines. Search for
Power
that.
Apps.
It is really easy to implement. If you look into the if you refer any of the video, you will get an understanding how the Power Apps pipeline can be set up.
Understood.
Uh,
Yeah.
how
Thanks,
how
Abhijit.
long
Yeah.
how long is the course? 2 months, 3 months? How long will this course run to
So
complete?
standard timing would be 40 hours. It depends. The plus minus will happen based on the number of questions
Okay.
we have. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And what is the fee structure for this course?
Sorry, say again.
What is the fee?
Yeah, you would need to contact to the maybe Malti or from the Visual Path, someone from the Visual Path. They will explain you. I would be more often look after the trainings.
So,
Okay.
while we attending this course, right, if we can try, once we have the full understanding, the Microsoft 365 fundamental exam, certification exam, it would be easier to pass through.
Yes,
And also
definitely.
the Power
Yes,
Platform, there is another certification for the Power Platform, right? Power
yes.
Platform
So as
training.
I said, that depend
So,
on your interest. They have different
mm.
set of roles, like a admin or a deployment expert or a functional consultant. So I was talking about deployment expert, right? After that, you also have a functional consultant. Functional consultant is a person who is a kind of an BA as well, and who can also develop an application with no coding. A person who doesn't know the coding, but who comes from a BA background. Okay, he is a functional consultant. He can take a requirement from a client. He can do the stuff, basic stuff, uh, where no coding is required. So he can also help development team in order to complete the development, or he can also look after the production support tickets those are coming, and he can also fix those there only, instead of passing those to developers. So the travel time between the tickets will get reduced.
Yeah,
Functional consultant is also
that's the course I'm targeting. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales Functional Consultant, MB to 10.
absolutely
Yep.
Yes, that's correct. So functional
Yeah.
consultant is something you have an idea about the domain, a business domain, and also have an idea about how it can be worked or implemented into the dynamics. Because what happens is that dynamics works in a different way, right? Whenever you take a requirement from a client, you understand, right? It can be implemented or not, because you know the dynamics and you are a BA as well. So you can convince a client at the same point while you are taking the requirements that this can be possible, this cannot be possible, or this can be possible in a certain way. Are you comfortable with that? So that is something where you can fit yourself, because dynamics development is following a disconnected architecture. What mean by disconnected architecture? You develop the applications in a different components and you publish those components in a common place, so those will get synced in the application. And due to this, a client may see some different setup like the traditional way of development. They will experience a little differently when they actually start using the applications you developed in the dynamics. And that a functional consultant can clearly explain or clearly guide in terms of training, in terms of requirement gathering, in terms of fixing the easier solutions or easier issues where no coding is required. That is something you can fit as yourself as a functional consultant. And the fourth or fifth is something your developer. A developer can do everything. It can be ABCD, all of those things he can do, because he know the coding. So he can look after the security stuff, deployment stuff, data migration stuff. I know, not functional consultant, he cannot work on the requirement gathering, but yes, he can support the functional consultant as well. So
But
yeah, that is
ultimately, development is the first position, right, Abhishek? Because I hear there is no like openings for functional and admin, but ultimately development is the first position, right?
development is the first position you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, because in market, many companies are looking for developers only, right? Not functional compared to functional, and development is the first priority, right?
Uh, yeah, it depends really. I mean, it is not that way. You also have the dynamics tester. I mean, you would surprise that if I say that people are also looking for a tester who have the experience in the Dynamics 365. So it is, I would not say Dynamics 365 tester is a separate profile, but yes, people are looking for the testers who are specialized in the Dynamics. So yes, a developer will get a higher weightage in terms of other profile, but yeah, I would not say that it is only, or it is most of the profiles currently getting hired. There are so many. Data migration is really complicated job. I mean, you can ask any traditional developer to learn the dynamics. You can use any of the person from your existing team and ask him to learn the dynamics. He can learn it because he is from the coding background. But you cannot ask a tester to be a functional consultant. It takes time. Self learning, it is not impossible or it is not hard as well. It is easy, but it takes a time.
Understood. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
How many
So these
days
are
the
the options
lesson?
available.
How many days the
Yes.
lessons every day will be there, or how?
Yes, we will have 1 hour session every day. If
Okay.
all are agree, we can have the weekend sessions as well, which would be a multiple hours, 2 to 3 hours. Most probably, average time to complete a course would be 35 to 40 hours. 40 hours we would be completing. The reason is something,
Okay.
if I explain you that how to create a table, how to create, columns, how to configure a form. After that, in order to complete or in order to develop an application, I might, in the background before we join, I might complete certain activities. I mean, might create you certain tables in order to streamline our sessions or not repeat the same thing.
Okay, thank you. We are looking forward
Hey,
to join.
Abhijit, I have one query. Like, do we have a CRM on-prem and also cloud, right? The thing you're saying about cloud.
Yeah, 2016 till 2016, we used to have the CRM on-prem. Now everyone is mostly using the cloud version.
But in D365, you are saying CRM, we do have on-prem as well as cloud. For both the for both application, we can use it, right?
No, no, no. So I was saying
Customers
that
require
Dynamics
this.
365 or Power Platform model-driven apps. Both are the clouds, not the on-prem. On-prem requires a separate server which you need to host in your area. In 365, that will be hosted as a part of your Azure Active Directory or Azure portal.
Yeah, on-prem is something Active Directory, right? Not Azure.
Yeah, on-prem both needs the Active Directory, but in on-prem you will get the access to the database that is a SQL server. I mean, although we are using a Dataverse as a database for a Dynamics, but it is internally storing all the data into the SQL server. When you use the SQL server, you need to host a SQL server on your server. Wherever, if you have Azure, that's fine, or any other server, you need to host a SQL server there. You will be connecting a SQL server in the on-prem. But in the 365 model-driven app or a Dynamics 365, you don't have access to SQL. You only have access to Dataverse.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll be showing us uh, document, SharePoint connecting. You'll be showing us an integration
Share
part.
Yes, if anyone wanted to share a screen or anyone wanted to have a questions, I will definitely clear their doubts. With the limitations what we have currently, SharePoint is not an option available for us with the setup we are having. But I am open to solve any queries you are having.
Then how we'll be generating reports? I mean, a report like uh, suppose we are having any document core pack option. So is it possible to show us how we can configure that one?
Okay, so report something Dynamics also has an option to create the reports, charts, dashboards, which are by default available. We will be going to discuss those as well.
An integration part,
Sorry, say again.
integration from CRM to if any payments
Integration.
came
Okay,
from
okay. Yes. So
CRM.
integrations, yes. We will be talking on the integrations as well. How you can integrate your CRM applications to some other applications, or how you can get the data from some other applications to the CRM through Power Automate or through the custom API as well, or through JavaScript, through the plugin. Yeah, we will try to discuss those as well.
Which softwares it will support for integration?
So you can use the Power Automate. If you don't want to use the Power Automate, you can use C sharp as a coding language, or you can use JavaScript as well. It's up to you. Okay, any other questions?
Abhijit, will you be providing any server to work on hands-on on the tables or forms once we complete
No,
this?
not the servers. You would need to download, or you need to subscribe a trial version. So I'll try to tell you that how you can take a trial version with your personal email ID or your office email ID, any email ID you can use to take the trial of be a sales service, any module you want, which will be valid for 30 days. So in 30 days, you can try out different things. Once the 30 days are over, you can take that solutions actually uh, as a zip, and then you can take one more subscription with the same email ID, and you would get 30 more days extended. And you can import your solutions exported from your earlier environment to the new environment you got. That way, you can
Okay.
continue your development. Yeah.
Can't we host that in the virtual machine?
It
Is it
can
not
be. It
possible?
actually cost a lot of it has a lot of cost associated to that. That is something a limitation. Okay, any other questions?
When did the lessons will start with this batch?
uh,
Do you have any idea?
yes, mostly from the next week, as I currently have one batch undergoing, so I don't want to start both of these parallelly. Just wanted to
Okay.
focus one at a time. So mostly
Mm,
in the next week we will be starting once my current batch is over.
okay.
Yeah.
The timings you're saying around 8
8 to
or
9.
9.
Yeah, 8 p.m to 9 p.m IST.
But it has been mentioned from 9 to 10 or something.
uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, currently I have a batch going on from 8 to 9. That's the reason we actually set up this call after that batch. Once that batch is over, then the same timing will be followed.
You mean to say 8 to 9 or 9 to 10?
No, 8 to 9. I'm saying we will be having a batch from 8 to 9 for our batch.
So there is no 9 to 10.
No, there would not be 9 to 10. Yeah.
Abhijit, I have one question. Like, do you help us in our resumes, just giving us the points which would be highlighting our resume when we are done with the course?
Yes, absolutely. I'll definitely help you. You can talk to
Okay.
me in person and I'll definitely help you.
Okay, thank you.
All good. If there are no questions, I think we can wind up today's call.
Yeah, thank you for the insights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very good starting. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you all then. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Have a
you.
nice